Hey guys, this is Pratik and you're watching Technocrat. Literacy is the ability that helps people read, it helps people write, it helps people communicate, understand things around them and gain knowledge. A person who is literate or just has the fundamental education will be able to read newspapers, will be able to read books, will be able to understand signs on signboards like which bus goes where, and will also be able to take the right medicine when he is ill. A person who is educated is generally considered to be the one who is well behaved, has the right etiquette, he also has good analytical skills and will be able to make decisions rationally. Literacy rate is after all one of the key metrics to understand a country's progress. It was not until few years that we have come across the term digital literacy. It has come into limelight mainly in the developing countries. Digital literacy is the ability to use digital devices and use technology efficiently for education, commerce and communication. But why did digital literacy become important all of a sudden? Just like literacy, even digital literacy is one of the key metrics in understanding a country. A digital citizen or a netizen is someone who is using internet very regularly and effectively. Just as a person who is a citizen of a country has few fundamental rights and duties, even the person using internet has a few fundamental rights and has to abide by few duties. So what all comes under this digital citizenship? A digital citizen should be able to communicate effectively over the internet. He should be able to carry out commerce. He should be able to access information. He should have right etiquette over all the social platforms. He should be aware of the laws. He should know all his digital rights. He should also safeguard his digital information. This is how actually digital citizenship has to be. But let's see how it actually is. But going further, let's ask another question. Why should we even bother about digital literacy? If a person is literate or has the fundamental education, it means that he is employable. But then what are the benefits of having digital literacy? Let's try to observe a present trend. Information and technology has become cheap and accessible than ever. Especially there has been a lot of technology dumping in the developing nations in the past 2 to 3 years. The YouTube viewership alone is a very key indicator for this fact. For example, in India alone, the viewership has become 4-fold in the past 2 years and it's expected to become 10-fold until the year 2018, and even I want a fraction of that viewership. Earlier, 5 to 10 years ago, only the educated used to get hands on this technology and internet. It means that they knew how to use internet and technology even before they bought. So everyone had a bare understanding of what internet and technology could be used for. I've observed a very interesting scenario that I have to mention now. I was first exposed to Google when I was in my second or third standards. I used it to make a project on a tribe in Nigeria or something like that. But then when I see here in India, we have been seeing since the year 2015 or roughly in the mid 2016 that even Google has started giving advertisements. It's actually a very strange thing for me to look at, because I always used to assume that people always knew how to use Google. These advertisements show that you can have live updates of the cricket scores, you can have a look at the show timings of the films in the theatres nearby your home. These advertisements basically show that you have an easy access for information. Now we have a very important conclusion and an inference to make. Back then, people knew what this technology and internet could be used for and then they purchased it. But now, people already have it in their hands, have it in their pockets, and now they are getting to know that what all can it be used for. Basically, there is no formal training from their ambience and the background in which they have grown up. So the natural tendency would be that people will be inclined to social media, being in perpetual contact through these communication platforms. People would always want to listen to music and watch movies just like that, and people would get exposed to all the games. There's actually nothing wrong in doing so. Even the educated ones would know. But the only problem is that people would only get exposed to the most purposeful things and the most productive things at a later stage. I'm fed up with the videos that I find on the YouTube trending page that are made in my native languages. Digital literacy ultimately is very closely related to the socio-economic status of people. Exceptionally, people who enjoy a very good status and are very highly educated also miserably fail to understand the importance of technology. Maybe this is because they don't have the right influences. Maybe they don't have the right exposure from their parents, from their peers, from their teachers in their growing ages. Let's get back to how it actually has to be and how it actually is. Rather than people searching for something that would make them more knowledgeable or that would keep them informed and that would help them form a perspective, people search for nonsense. Communication is undoubtedly one of the best conveniences that internet and technology has brought into our lives. But I often see people who purposelessly want to be in perpetual contact. With the advent of instant messaging services like Facebook and WhatsApp, people would always want to send something or the other to someone or the other. This has made them prone to texting syndrome, and this is what makes people bother about blue ticks and last scenes. It ultimately makes people bother about other person's life more than their own. People often don't have the right etiquette and don't know how to behave in the online environment. They don't know what to post and what not to post. And it gets even difficult when people feel like sending emojis and feel like using shorthands like TTYL, GTG, ROFL and don't know what they actually mean. Most of us are unaware of the laws that govern this digital world. I see that few people put few hate comments under some posts which might sometimes even land them in jail. We are also not aware of the digital copyright laws and we just go on to downloading movies and games from illegal sources like torrents. Even though we understand them, we take them for granted. People also face a lot of difficulty in transacting digitally and making purchases over online marketplaces. Now coming to safety and security, most of the people don't understand that there are many digital threats to their information. They instead don't hesitate to give away their very critical information like CVV number and also their account details over mails that very maliciously try to get your information. As you can see, the challenges are endless. In fact, no one has an exhaustive understanding of this digital world. But I feel that all these challenges can be addressed one by one if you try to understand the mindset of people and try to impact it in some or the other way. Internet is the ultimate superpower in the hands of the poor. Technology and internet is the power that empowers people. Many people often feel that internet and technology is not their thing, but then let's see how and why it has the power to transform people's lives in endless ways. When you look at our society, there are many gaps between communities that are brought about by money and education. When you have education, you'll be able to make money, and when you have money, you'll be able to educate your children. It has its own justifications. But then, technology and internet has democratized information and consequently has also democratized innovation. There is one thing about internet that we have totally taken for granted. Few people don't even know what it means. It's net neutrality. If you compare a rich person and a poor person, you find many differences in their lifestyle, in the food they have, in the backgrounds that they get to live, in the lifestyle that they lead, and in the amenities that they enjoy. But then there wouldn't be any difference in the Google search or the Google queries that they make. It sounds very strange, right? But just think, if a person having, say suppose $100 in his bank account makes a search query and he gets a different information, and a person having $1 million in his bank account gets a different information that is much more accurate, then how would it be? It means that the net is not neutral to everyone. It is biased to the one who has more wealth. Net neutrality also has similar kinds of implications from a business standpoint. Say suppose you have a technology company or an internet company that's already doing good in its own industry. Say if there's a new player who wants to enter into that business, then would this company let him in? It is only possible because the net is neutral. It is neutral to everyone. It is the same information that a rich and a poor can get. It is the same knowledge. It is the same awareness. It is the same informedness. It is same. But what matters is the curiosity that you have. But at the end of the day, everyone needs to have a moment of awakening. An awakening that helps them understand that above and beyond this entertainment, gaming, blue ticks and last scenes of the WhatsApp, there's a pot of gold left for them. This pot of gold is nothing but the knowledge that you can get from internet and that can help you impact your life in endless ways. If you have a look at the top self-made billionaires of the world, it was only that one serendipitous idea that they got and their execution capabilities that made them realize this, and at the core of this, there was technology and internet that helped them make a fortune for generations to come. They barely could even make living before they could realize these ideas. Similarly, every one of us have an equal opportunity to understand this world better through internet and technology. I believe that the well-being of our entire human civilization is only because of fundamentally two things: the medicine and education. Through internet and technology, it would be very easy in deploying these two things very effectively and efficiently. Through all these pedometric sensors, heart rate sensors, you can constantly have a look at your health, and maybe you'll not need to consult a doctor in the near future if you have an illness. And through e-learning, you'll not have to go to schools and colleges for your learning. You only need to understand how things need to be learned rather than what to be learned. For this to happen, people have to be equipped, not in their positions that they already have, but in their competencies to use them. It is the mindset that has to change. Many sociologists and technologists are not ready to equate literacy with digital literacy. If there is one thing to blame, that is definitely our education system. We know that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. We know that the First World War was fought between 28th July 1914 to 11th November 1918. We know that a plus b whole cube is a cube plus b cube plus 3a square b plus 3ab square. But we never had a formal education that helped us understand the real magic of this digital world. Everything is left to us and we eventually discover everything by ourselves. And now the blue ticks and the number of likes tend to bother us. My only agony is that instead of being taught so much of nonsense, maybe they could have made few chapters about all these internet and stuff. And the real sad part is that people are not even ready now to accept that this is the future. Nowadays we see that the people who don't have an understanding of internet and technology in first place also have very expensive smartphones and good internet connections. People who do a bit lower profile jobs like the maids in our houses and drivers also have an internet connection and a smartphone. It means that they have the same digital amenities that we used to have a few years ago. All those who feel that internet is only this much, show them that there is a larger picture. Try to make their perspective a bit wider and break free all the frontiers. In fact, it's our duty to help them understand basics of internet and technology, because they never had a formal education or they don't have a good exposure like we had. They have already got it all in their hands. Just show them that it can be used for their betterment. It is not the money you pay them back for the services that they provide, but this would indeed be a very great help because they'd be able to transform their lives. Be a real technocrat. Maybe all that I've spoken might not be a big issue in many countries, but what happens in and around my vicinity really concerns me. This video has a greater purpose than the eyeballs that it would be able to grab. I clearly understand that, but I have a greater excitement in making this video compared to all other videos. Ultimately, it has to create an impact. Remember the awakening that I was talking about? I feel that maybe it would give that moment of awakening to at least a handful of people who are watching this video. This is the last video out of my introductory videos. From now, you will see videos that help you understand technology. I feel that I have reached a milestone. I hope to see you in my other video where you get to understand something new. Always believe in science and make the best possible use of technology. Until then, bye bye.